Hello, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Hale-Come empath, and I just like doing these little talks on how I feel about things. I collect data. I'm a data collector. I collect it all. What I think is freaking nonsense. I collect from people I can't stand. People I can stand, I just collect data. I just follow the little ant hole, and wherever it finds me, there I am. I had a good day. I've had a couple good days together. I dare say it's a trend. My back hurts. I went to the dump today. It was went through town, so it took extra time. So it was just a nice leisurely trip to the dump. You know, practice ORM, operational risk management. You know, didn't want to overdo it. And it still hurts, but I'm mobile. As long as I'm mobile, I'm good, yo. I don't really need a whole lot of conditions for my well-being to be above board. A friend of mine had to evacuate today. He and his kitty, and think about them and their well-being, and hope that fire Jones Valley and Bear Mountain Road and near Reading gets put out with minimal structural damage, loss of life. I bet that's Joe right there. Yep, at my mom's now. We're safe. Good. Hey, Joe. Anyway, people's lives can change on a dime, and I had a lot of really crazy, wild stuff happen to me in the first part of my life, and for a long time I just accepted it as my life, and then I didn't talk about it, and then I started talking about it, and then, and start processing all the emotions and stuff that went along with it, and started coming to the realization that not a lot of other people had experiences like these, and but what it's given me is a lot of life experience, and what I do is I take that life experience, and now I get to go out in the world because more crazy crap's happened to more people. I think all the girls and boys that are getting harmed for money, profit. I think all the big gross entities that have done all this gross waste for freaking centuries for profit. Wars? Why? Because somebody said somebody was a threat, and it's against the law to go into somebody's house and frickin' start shooting them up. But if you're the government of the U.S., you can go to other people's countries and blow up people's houses, and that's cool. I mean, might ain't right, and all that stuff is changing, and more people are having, as a result of that, and all that nastiness that has happened because, that's just the way that we've always done it, so we'll keep doing it that way. That's crap stupid. That is no way to evolve a society. That's a way to keep society under wraps, for sure. People are starting to feel bad. They have to feel bad, man. There is no way that I could drive to work every day and drive past homeless people. I can't ignore them. And these people are not, they've been able to, these people up here have been able to ignore the rest of us. And now the rest of us are like, no, we won't be ignored, No more harming, no more stuff for your freaking nasty profits, because, if money is the root of all evil, it is. And then you got these people that are finding different ways to live without money, property, prestige, and hey, we're freaking prospering pretty okay, I know a lot of my astrology is dictated that I have set myself up to fear money and to think that, you know, people with money are bad. But the way I look at it is money is an energy, and as long as I don't let the abundance stop with me and I let it just freaking pile up in my account, that I use that to help other people. I got so many ideas to pay that stuff forward, like with my snapbacks, you know, because pick your price photography. I got an idea. I will do young kids, and when I moved to Redding, there's several high schools: Enterprise, Foothills, Central Valley, Shasta, I believe. You know, I would do senior portraits for these kids, couple hours session, give them some nice portraits if they want. If they go help some senior citizens that are shut in, mow their lawn, clean up their yard, do stuff like that. I got nothing but ideas, you know. So not-for-profit, nonprofit, I got so many ideas, and I think all these non-for-profits, you know, they had all these ideas too, but they got, you know, their bottom line got higher and higher, and their ego became part of encapsulating that bottom line, and so when they need a car to get around, they opted to buy themselves an $80,000 car to get around instead of a practical $15,000 for now, because that's just, or a used car. My big red truck cost me $2,400, and so you can do more with less people, you know. Bigger your spirit, you can come up with ideas to compensate. You don't need to have people pay for your egos, you know. That's what all this stuff has happened. It's coming to find out, it's coming to light. And I gotta see where the cat went. And I got a tidbit about technology too. As long as I see you, Stanley. I don't know why people are all tripped up about freaking 5G and technology. Except for maybe except for none of the tech works now. Man, I can't do live anymore. Because the browsers that, I've talked about that before, right? None of the technology works together unless you have a Windows machine. Apple, did you tick off YouTube? Because you can't, on Safari, you can't do lives, you know? And so I tried it in, what is it, Chrome, which I hate, but I have for Google Earth. And then I go to listen to my iTunes. Now, iTunes, they freaking discontinued iTunes, you know? And so maybe they're not going to support it anymore. So it's like, maybe your stuff will work, or maybe you want. So thanks for all the thousands of the dollars that you've spent, you know, in music over the years. MLN. MLN. That's what all these big businesses are doing. You know what? I'm glad you made all your money, because all the big businesses with the concept to just make as much money as you can and be as gross and pidulant as possible, you know, unless an idea has comes from a heart space of love, it will not succeed. And that's the new way of things around about in it. So in the ways of karma, how am I seeing that play out? Oh God, it's all over the place. Every place is all over the place. News, karma's everywhere, you know. But I've had some really positive interactions. Some very positive interactions, you know. I go to the grocery store yesterday, and I was just, you know, positive stuff. And I won $10 today, you know. Went and bought Mom some lunch, got her a good lunch, and then even when I was picking up Mom's lunch after I went to the dump, the restaurant, people were so nice and receptive, warm, and I was sad to hear a story about a young man losing his life this morning, you know, and I guess he went into the restaurant and ate, is the feeling that I got, kind of. Maybe I'm wrong, but he worked just behind the restaurant, and he was on a motorcycle. And, you know, I think it'd be really fun to ride motorcycles, and I'd like to ride them again out in, you know, when I was a kid, there's old logging roads up in Northern California you could go tearing up and about and around, and that would be fun and stuff like that. But I don't, it's too dangerous on the streets because people just don't pay attention. They just don't. And it's all because they don't have regard for human life. Because, and I used to not. I used to be the same way. I take responsibility, and the best way I can live proper from here on out is to not live that way anymore. And when I'm behind the wheel of a car, there's no texting, there's no nothing. Most of the time, I don't even bring my cell phone with me unless I'm going to be traveling or, gone for a couple hours, you know. So, if you respect life, you're going to give it the utmost attention. And that didn't happen. And a young man lost his life this morning. So, if you want to see who you're like-minded with, I know a lot of people are on YouTube these days. It was pretty cool. Like a lot of the musicians that I like, when I'm extra energized and my creativity juices are flowing, I noticed that a lot of the musicians that I like are putting out new albums and or there's a lot of covers that are coming out with their music. It's really kind of interesting. Just look at these neat little freaking links, that link us all together. That people are always like, no, that's woo-woo. This is the stuff that freaking connects us, man. Stuff that, determines where your, how your vibe is going to freaking go through life is by the people that you attract, the best whole possible person you can be. You're going to attract the best possible people that you can know. Then there's those little evil bastards who like to go in there and play games and just like to freaking interject and then cause problems, just because they could create dissidence. But hopefully the older you get, the more you start trusting your own knowing and your own intuition. And oh, hi, squirrel. You see his little tail up there? And there he is up there. He's up in the corner, right there. Hi, squirrel. So, get quiet, get out in nature, and cooperation is nature's way. When you get good with nature, nature gets good with you, and all kinds of wonderful things start happening. So, that's all I got. Hope you have a rad evening. Peace. Stan Lee!